Sadie's Jean Grey secret. Sadie Sink isn't playing a new hero in this movie. Multiple reports identify her character as Jean Grey, one of the very first X-Men in Marvel history. The film reportedly gives her a sister named Sarah, who shares the same telepathic power and gets kidnapped by a government lab. That detail matters. In the comics, Sarah taught Jean how to control her mind long before Professor Xavier ever found her. Bringing that relationship into a Spider-Man movie means mutants aren't a future plan anymore. They're already walking through Peter Parker's world. If this reporting holds up, Brand New Day quietly becomes the MQ's real starting point for the X-Men, hidden inside a Spider-Man story. Marvel hasn't confirmed the Jean Grey identity outright, but the sister connection lines up too closely with the comics to ignore. Peter's powers are mutating. Peter's body is changing in ways his spider bite never explained. Organic webbing suddenly shoots from his wrists. His eyes turn black at random moments. Tom Holland reportedly described it as spider puberty, and that framing fits the film's approach. His powers aren't just getting stronger, they're evolving into something new, years after his original transformation. That timing lines up with Jean Grey's introduction, since her own abilities activated early through trauma too. The comics have a name for this kind of late-onset power surge, tied to dormant mutant genes waking up under stress. If Brand New Day is quietly building toward mutants existing in the MQ, Peter's spider puberty arc might be the first sign his biology was never entirely human to begin with. Venom found Peter. There's another explanation for Peter's black eyes and organic webs, and it has nothing to do with mutant genes. At the end of No Way Home, a small piece of Venom's symbiote gets left behind when Eddie Brock is pulled back to his own universe. It's never mentioned again, but it's never destroyed either. Some fans believe that Fragment spent years quietly searching for a host and eventually found Peter. That would explain the aggression, the black eyes, and organic webbing that behaves nothing like his old mechanical shooters. It's an appealing theory, but it's unconfirmed. Marvel has given no on-screen proof a symbiote is involved, and the spider puberty explanation covers the same symptoms just as well. Until Marvel says otherwise, this stays a rumor worth watching, not a confirmed twist. Daredevil's hidden cameo. Trailer footage reportedly shows ninjas from the Hand moving through the city, and that detail alone raises a question. The Hand rarely appears without Daredevil nearby. When Peter falls through what looks like an organic web cocoon, some viewers wondered if Matt Murdock was the one catching him. That would explain why the trailer never shows the man's face. A street-level crossover would fit Marvel's pattern of connecting Spider-Man to Daredevil's corner of New York. But this idea comes entirely from fan speculation around trailer imagery, and Charlie Cox has reportedly denied being involved in this film. Until Marvel confirms otherwise, treat the ninjas as a possible tease, not proof Daredevil appears. If the Hand's presence goes unexplained, this theory may resurface in a future project instead. Punisher hunts Tombstone. John Bernthal's Punisher finally shares the screen with Spider-Man, and Peter reacts like they've crossed paths before, shouting his name on sight. That reaction suggests a history the movie hasn't fully shown yet. Reports say Tombstone, a major crime boss from the comics, has been cast for this film, and some viewers believe he becomes the shared target, pulling Frank Castle and Peter into an uneasy alliance. Punisher doesn't work with heroes easily, so a common enemy is usually what it takes. If Tombstone is running organised crime through the city, that's exactly the kind of threat that could force Frank and Peter onto the same side, at least temporarily. It's a smaller story next to the mutant reveals, but it may quietly bring Punisher into Marvel's bigger street-level plans. Hulk's quiet return. Bruce Banner shows up in this film, but not as the version fans might expect. Director Destin Daniel Cretton has described Banner's role as more of a mentor than a fighter this time. That's a shift from his usual appearances, where Hulk tends to smash first and think later. Reports suggest Banner leans into a calmer, advisory presence, closer to how Tony Stark once guided Peter in Homecoming. That doesn't mean Hulk stays out of the story completely, but instead of another explosive rampage, his focus seems to be on Peter's development, offering scientific insight rather than muscle. For a movie already juggling mutants, a symbiote rumor, and a crime boss, keeping Hulk in a supporting role makes sense. It keeps the spotlight on Spider-Man without losing what makes Bruce Banner interesting. Mist remembers Peter. Mur was supposed to forget Peter completely after Doctor Strange's spell, but small details suggest her memory isn't as gone as it should be. She's shown drawing Spider-Man in his old Homecoming suit, not the one from this film, a detail she shouldn't know at all. By the end, she's holding the Black Dahlia necklace Peter once gave her, visibly emotional. One theory connects this to Jean Grey's psychic outburst earlier in the film, suggesting the shockwave may have cracked the memory block Strange put in place. If that's true, MG's mind might be slowly reclaiming pieces of a relationship she isn't consciously aware existed. None of this is confirmed by dialogue. It's inference built from small visual clues, but if intentional, it sets up a real payoff for the sequel. Ned broke the spell. When Peter and Ned do their old secret handshake, Ned finishes it on instinct, then says Peter's name out loud. That single moment suggests something in Strange's memory spell didn't fully take. One theory points back to No Way Home, where Ned opened a portal using a sling ring with zero training, something that shouldn't have been possible without real magic. If Ned has latent sorcery ability, that same sensitivity might explain why a physical memory, like a handshake, slipped past the spell when nothing else did. The film never explains this moment directly. It could be pure muscle memory, or it could be magic breaking through on its own terms. Either way, Ned now remembers Peter, and that knowledge alone could carry serious consequences once future films start building on it. Jean heads to Xavier. In the film's final stretch, Jean Grey boards a bus heading out of the city, and the road she travels is lined with thick trees instead of buildings. That visual points toward the wooded, upstate setting long associated with Charles Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. She has nothing left pulling her back. Her parents already rejected her, her sister is gone, and a government agency spent the movie trying to study her. Heading into isolation to start over fits everything she's been through. In the comics, Jean is one of the very first X-Men Xavier ever trained, alongside Cyclops and Beast. If this reporting holds, she isn't just walking toward a future school. She may be arriving before the school exists, meaning Jean could help convince Xavier a safe haven for mutants needs to be built in the first place. Spider-Man, lost in space. The post-credit scene ends with Ned's tracker locking onto a second Spider-Man somewhere out in open space. That single detail opens the movie's biggest unanswered question. One possibility points to Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker, last seen returning to his own universe at the end of No Way Home. If his reality became caught in the incursions tearing at the multiverse, he could be drifting untethered, exactly where the tracker finds him. Another theory suggests Reed Richards' dimension-hopping ship, already teased elsewhere, may have picked him up before his universe collapsed. A third, less likely idea points to Miles Morales, based on how the tracker's glitch visually distorts on screen. None of this is confirmed. Marvel hasn't named who or what that second signal actually is. The tracker was built to find Spider-Man. Right now, it's found one nobody expected.